My name is Jerry, and I left MAGA. Despite what folks might think out there about people not leaving MAGA, I ran into that this morning on Facebook. The 5051, the 5051 movement, which I greatly appreciate the work that they do, um, and the organizing and getting people to turn out and speak their minds. But there seems to be there seems to be this thought that nobody's leaving MAGA, and I find that frustrating on so many levels because on one hand, it's telling me that there's people in that movement that believe other people can't change their minds, that they can't allow themselves to be psychologically fluid in their thought patterns and be willing to change their minds. And that's the same sort of frustration that I've run into with Christian nationalism, where they don't allow you to change your mind either. It seems like on one side you're doomed to hell if you change your mind away from dogmatic thinking, and the other side seems to refuse to allow people to change their mind. It's a really frustrating position to be caught in because I'm trying to help both sides understand that part of the human experience is learning and changing and growing. This is We're not going to get anywhere as a country, in my humble opinion, without being able to address that. Change needs to be allowed to happen. You're not going to beat an authoritarian system without active individual change. Learn how narcissists work. Learn how they use manipulation tactics to control thought processes. Be it as something as simple as whatever handful of news outlets you might listen to or check out or read. Does Who reads these days? Everything's available to us in video format. I mean, I'm trying to transmit my ideas to you through video because I'm more likely to reach you here on YouTube or Facebook or Pill, Rumble, wherever it is that you're consuming my thoughts from. I'm trying to get you to realize that there's a better way to live than under the control of an authoritarian system. It doesn't matter if it's a cult of one, where the father or the mother, whoever, where there's one individual who's the sole authority of the household, or if it's the sole authority over a group that has dispensed authority to its members to have control over yet a smaller demographic of members of that group. Um, it's There's a better way to live. There's a much better way to live. We can work together as human beings. We can allow each other to change. We can encourage each other to change. We should encourage each other to change. That should be part of the path of an empath. I understand not everybody can be an empath, but almost everybody. And I'm going to have to exclude narcissists from this statement. But nearly all human beings have the capability of learning empathy. I've heard rumors that there's narcissist anonymous out there somewhere. I I I wrestle with that. But then again, I've endured a string of narcissists in my life. So I can openly admit I have trust issues. But, but don't let me diminish. Don't interpret my sayings or my words as diminishing the efforts of a narcissist who wants to get better. All right. Who wants to actually become a better human being. They there is no such thing as the perfect human in such a fashion that this is the ideal. You know, that doesn't exist. That the perfect human is imperfect. So I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling here. I'm just kind of frustrated here. I sat down to just start doing some more of these Project 2025 training videos, and yeah, I just felt motivated to speak in this other direction, just raw and just like this is me. This is me being vulnerable about my feelings, about my thought processes, how I'm frustrated at the fact that I've lost my entire family to narcissism in one form or another, be it religious or political or just straight up narcissism. You know, Patrick Teahan is right. Hurt people need to do their own work. Jerry Wise is right in understanding a narcissist isn't healing. Understanding a narcissistic parent creation isn't healing. I mean, those understanding those things can lead up to understanding how your parent got the skill set that they had. And when you come out of a highly controlled and extremely cloistered culture like Christian nationalism, you're absolutely unprepared for the real world. And as a child, I had been programmed to be a warrior for God. There was this distinct division in our worldview that was solely based on us versus them, and that was even within the Christian community. I mean, we had our own raw views of everybody. Catholics, they were idol worshippers. Episcopalians, they're Catholic lights, so they don't even count as Christians. And and then there was the Methodists and the Baptists, and and when it comes to the Baptists, good Lord, they've got their own divisions. But as far as our views from the Assemblies of God Church on the Southern Baptists, man, they were their own special brand of crazy. But you know what? If they caught the spirit, if they just catch the spirit, man, they could figure it out. They'd be on the right track. Man, maybe I need to do more of these raw thought videos. I'm just kind of rambling, but yeah, just had some thoughts I had to get out there. All right. I think I'm ready to sit down in the studio and challenge some bad ideas with some more positive counterpoints. Hopefully, I can get some folks educated about the psychology and the anthropology of MAGA and this monster that we're up against. Um, maybe maybe I'm just talking into the wind. I don't know. I don't know. But I hope that maybe at some point in the future, my library, my digital library, my writings, my videos, I hope that someday this collection will work to benefit somebody. Just that's just my raw thought. There's a lot of people out here hurting. There's a lot of us that have lost families to this whole psyop. Um, and if you've been following any of my work, you know that I'm working towards proving how Christian nationalism, in accordance with what's been presented in Lerone A. Martin's book, The Gospel of J. Edgar Hoover. Billy Graham and J. Edgar Hoover were closely tight knit together back in the 50s when we got In God We Trust uh, uh, added as the new motto of America to replace E Pluribus Unum. And One Nation Under God. Under God was added to the Pledge of Allegiance, starting this normalization towards this ideology that we have today that somehow America was founded in this great Christian ideology when in fact most of the founding fathers were members of the Masons, and Christian nationalists today look at them as demonic and satanic and oh yeah, JD Vance and demons and UFOs and Peter Thiel and oh my goodness, it's just yeah, apparently I wasn't ready to go jump in the studio. Yeah. Um, this is where we are. This is where I am. It's April 2nd, 2026, and I've got work to do. I hope that I can impart some of my wisdom on some other folks and they can figure out a way out of this because too many of my answers are problematic in the end because they they run inherent risks of being weaponized because we're dealing with people. We're dealing with humans and we're dealing with brains and we're dealing with words and we're dealing with ideas. And this is a human experience and mental health matters. All right. Yeah. Now I'm ready to go to work. I hope y'all take care of yourselves. It's important.